Welcome to Ready, Set, Hunt. Whether you're an aspiring, new, or seasoned hunter, join us as we share our experiences and learn from other hunters around the country. Okay, we're live. We're live, Chris.
What is live?
I mean, technically this is not live. This will be released after it's been recorded. This is not live streaming, but you and I are live at the moment to each other.
In the context of The Matrix, if anyone has ever seen that movie, would you say the beginning of The Matrix and Neo, when they're in The Matrix, is live? Or is it a version of live and then he's out of The Matrix and then he's live?
That question is too deep for a Monday evening. It's too early in the week for that kind of thinking.
Well, it is fall weather today. It's out with force. What did we hit? What was our high today?
Up here, for me, the high was, I believe, 69 degrees. And it is still August, which is very unusual for Minnesota this time of year. Typically, so Minnesota State Fair is going on right now, and typically...
Best fair in the nation.
It is. I was there today, and I was there yesterday. 2 days in a row. I'm going to go one more time, I think. My family's kind of fair fanatics, but typically, the Minnesota State Fair... It's called the Great Minnesota Get Together, but it also has a nickname, the Great Minnesota Sweat Together, because it's almost always at least in the 80s. Most of the time it hits the 90s. It's humid. It's terrible, but also really fun. But yesterday and today, it didn't go above 70, and it was glorious. There's people wearing pants and sweatshirts. I don't know if I've ever seen that.
I had a sweatshirt on today and I still was chilly.
Yeah, it was great. And so,
but that's
hunting weather's in the air.
I say that because it's fall, like it's ushering in hunting time. So,
yep, hunting weather's in the air. I'm here for it. I'm ready.
You brought down, I don't even know what we call it yet. Yacht number 1.
Yeah,
our little 12-footers, or what are they? 12s? Or are they 14s?
14. Both our boats are 14s.
We should definitely get like a 2-mast boat and like make it into a pirate ship or something. It'd be awesome to be out there. I'm a movie guy, so my mind goes to fantastical adventures. But yeah, I'm excited. I even opened my garage. I moved the boat that's down here around in the garage and was messing around with some of our blinds set up. And I think we're going to change it up before we do go out in a little bit to add concealment when we're sitting in the reeds that we typically go out. So that's exciting.
But here's the real question, Chris. Fall is almost here. Have you organized your spring bear gear in your office yet, or is it all still sitting on the ground? Because we've talked about this on this podcast in months past. So is your floor cleaned up, or does it look eerily the same?
It's organized chaos.
Okay.
Nothing is technically out. Everything's in their totes. I do have a rack of my jackets that are on it's like a standalone rack. You can wheel it around or whatever. It's sitting in here. And I have a lot of other things. I got pictures I have to hang up. I just haven't spent any time really on my office.
So it's just kind of like your war room at the moment.
Yeah, I just got to buckle down and do it. And I'll do it before we kick off here for the hunting season, because I'll need to get things out and start to, pack outs and stuff, or gear drops and different things like that. So
it's going to come quick though, because you've got that fly fishing trip coming up later this week too. So
I'm going out to Wyoming, and I'll be doing some fly fishing, taking out a bunch of guys.
What river are you going to be on again?
This isn't rivers per se. They're back mountain streams.
Oh, okay.
That turn into rivers. So it's some of the veins of the Bighorn River.
Okay, some of the offshoots and tributaries and stuff.
Yep. And
Okay,
then they got a nice reservoir all the way back up there past Fort Smith, but we'll be actually be on the other side in Wyoming.
sure.
So it's a good vibe. But I'll take some guys up there and do that, and then we get back and we head up north for early teal, goose, and dove opener. That's
Hmm.
traditionally our midday rifle session to verify our zeros and just get a little shooting in before um, we are a hot less than 30 days from our Wyoming deer hunt, antelope
Yeah.
hunt this year.
And if you see Chris looking off to the side, what he's looking at right now is a giant calendar that he has on his wall. It takes up like a good portion of his wall. Yep,
It's
there it
there.
is.
It's
There it
there.
is. He likes having the life size calendar so he can see everything in his life. So
It's
he's not
actually
just
it's
looking
very
off up into the
pleasant.
corner of his room.
It's very pleasant to see what's coming up, and it helps me with work too. So,
Hmm.
but yeah, after that, I'll get a little South Dakota duck hunting in.
Hmm.
Well, I should say no. We get our duck opener here in Minnesota before that.
Duck opener. Then we head out literally a couple days later
Are you
to
are you doing deer
Wyoming
opener?
for archery.
Yeah. Are you gonna get out?
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try. We'll see.
I just feel
Um,
like I'm gonna have so much other opportunity right now. I even turned down, like I mentioned, that I didn't apply for the inner city hunt. They have the city hunts around metro
oh
areas,
yeah,
and that's always appealed to me. I really want to do that because it's so, 5 minutes from your house. You go get up in a stand and can walk out with some deer to put in the freezer. But yeah, I just don't have capacity.
yeah. Well, now that I have access to that property a lot closer to my house, it's like 10, 15 minutes away. I'll probably try and get out at least once or twice, just because I would like to fill my freezer with some venison. I don't need to shoot a huge buck or anything. I'd be happy plugging a couple does just to guarantee that I got some meat in my freezer for this winter. Just because last year I was just a terrible year for filling tags, and so I'm feeling the itch to to get that kind of taken care of earlier on before even some of our bigger hunts where we have multiple tags. But um, yeah, so
Then we'll
uh,
head out to Wyoming,
mhm.
and then I got a South Dakota hunt in there. I don't know if we will get out for additional duck this year. I would like to because
Yeah,
I want to put a little bit of time into the boats, and
mhm.
we do typically take out our eldest offspring
Yes.
to
And I have a buddy who's really wanting to go duck hunting this year, and he wants to bring his oldest son as well, same age as my oldest son. And I said that we'd find a time to go out. So probably look and see if we can't squeeze in an October duck hunt at some point. So you guys are welcome to join on that as well. But so I'll probably try and get out one more time at least after opener. It's just so hard because all these seasons start opening up and there's all these things you want to do, and you really just have to prioritize and balance, your priorities and figuring things out, and you know introducing hunter or new hunters to different game it's important to me. I try and do at least one of those a year. So that would probably be my one. But yeah, and then we're rolling into November almost at that point, and
deer
then
opener.
deer opener, and then we got another fly fishing trip out in Montana. So
From there, it's pretty much only some late season pheasant hunts
mhm.
typically.
I'll have
Um,
some I'll have some grouse hunts kind of sprinkled in there throughout September and October, not November probably, but
yeah, it's a considerable amount of time in the next 3 months, but
it's busy.
it's our favorite time of the year. Got to manage the family as well, and I don't say that in a negative way at all. It's just like you
Hmm.
gotta keep them top of mind when you are moving around and getting out the door, putting some meat in the freezer. So,
Yep.
but yeah, the weather just has turned it turned it on for me. So I even got the old shotgun out, and I'm gonna get that thing lathered up and ready to go for opener.
Yep. That crisp cold air, it's kicking me in the rear, just kind of getting me going, and it's like it's pretty much go time. So, um,
So I
but hey,
have
Oh yeah, I was gonna say you go ahead and
We're
you
gonna play a
talk
little
about it
bit of
today.
we didn't have a topic set, so I'm springing one on Peter. I have 5 options, and I'm actually gonna let
5. Wow.
Peter. I'm gonna let Peter choose.
Okay. This is fun. I thought you were gonna give me like 2 options, but
No,
5
I got
is
I got 5.
okay.
Okay, here's the first topic to entertain. Do modern hunters rely too much on YouTube?
Oh wow.
It's a
Okay.
very opinionated.
Okay.
It's just gonna be our thoughts. You
Mm-hmm.
know, dive into that. Second option, hunting in the age of likes. It's in the same vein,
Mm-hmm.
but a lot of people record now and they're going for those likes and those viewerships. So it plays in, it's a little different, and maybe we can bleed those two together.
Yeah, that
Um,
might be a good combo because I feel like they kind of go hand in hand. But anyway, continue.
um, this is a fun one. This episode then would be titled "Nobody Talks About the Boredom," and it's literally speaking about we like let's just shoot the wind on when it's slow, when you don't know what to do. Like
Yeah.
boredom is a real thing in the tree stand when you're hunting. You might be skunked, and where does that leave you? So there's a an idea is hunting. Well, here it's this is another social media one. Is hunting too sanitized on social media? And what I mean by that is it's so glamorous that you don't get the like you get dirty. You don't take a shower for a couple of days. When you're hucking out a bunch of meat, it's gonna be bloody.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you know what I mean? So there's it's that cleanliness versus like actually getting into it, and like you as someone who might be new listening to this, are you do you have the right expectation set? Like
Yeah.
a storm might come
Are you
through and
fully
you might be
prepared?
real wet.
Yeah.
And then the last one I have is dream hunts on a budget, and that's kind of a little bit of a guidance conversation of like
Sure.
where can you get a really high value hunt with not breaking the bank and flying to Alaska, because obviously Alaska's a dream and not everyone does it, but it is in the vein of social media or YouTube very glamorized now. So
Yeah.
what do you want to do, Pete? Where do you want to go? And
Oh man, I feel like
or
we
should
need
we
to talk.
blaze all of them in this one
No
episode?
way, no way. We wouldn't do any one of them justice if we did that. I think let's go with like the first one, but kind of blend in the second one, just because I think they go so well together.
Okay,
Okay,
fair enough.
so let's reintroduce the topic, and then do you have outlines for this, or are you just gonna
Yeah,
like are we just
give
gonna
me
flow?
give me 10 seconds here.
10 seconds live on the air.
And if you jump into our Google Drive now, you will find episode 22.
Beautiful.
Screens, streams, and selfies hunting in the age of viewership is what I've
Wow, that's a
thrown
really
up.
good. That's a good title. I want to ask you if you came up with that yourself, or is that maybe
No, not at all.
assisted
I
by
mean,
Chat GPT?
here's a question for the audience. Like, is ChatGPT like what is it? Is it stealing like authenticity? Is it counterfeiting creativity? Because I use it as a tool. I have all these ideas in my head, and what it does is it organizes things so quickly for my brain, especially
Hmm.
when I know what I want to say, I know how I want to say things, and I know how I want things to look, feel. So what it's done is it's supercharged me in a way. It's taken my V8 engine in my muscle car, and I threw a supercharger on there to get more output out of just how fast my brain works. And
Hmm.
what I like about it is I'm able to really like critique it to a place that I'm like, oh, this is a good spot. Now I can take that and I know where to go with what I actually want to say. I'm like,
Yeah,
and I can filter things out I didn't want it. I'm like, oh, I didn't realize I didn't want that. Okay.
I think there's a place for AI. I do feel that yes, depending on how it's used, I do think that it can absolutely um, dull creativity a little bit. Again, depending on how it's used. To me, if you're using it in like more of an outline fashion, like, hey, Chat GPT, build me an outline for X, Y, and Z. And it builds and I want to talk about this content. I want to include these points, that kind of stuff. That's one thing if you're building an outline. If you're writing like an entire like let's say we were making a hunting film and we needed an entire uh, script or screenplay or whatever, and we had to write that, and we just decided to make it to the T of what Chat GPT told us to do. That I feel is really taking away from the creativity, and I don't feel like that's authentic. Whereas if you're just using it to organize your thoughts and maybe clean things up a little bit to make it easier for the viewer or the listener to follow, I think that's one thing, because we're still inserting our own thoughts and having dialogue and conversation between the two of us without this, artificial intelligence telling us what to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I watch YouTube all the time. YouTube's
Mm-hmm.
probably on every day in my house almost. And what's on there is a couple things. It's like the greatest ever basketball debates between Jordan, Kobe, and LeBron. We've assessed now that LeBron is definitely not in the conversation. It's Kobe or Jordan. And when I say we, I mean me. And then additionally, I watch a ton of hunts right now. It's a lot of duck. So like the first
Mm-hmm.
thing comes up on my feed is like, Minnesota duck hunts, it's Western duck hunts, it's cold, ice cold late season duck hunts, new shotguns, decoys, stuff like that. And then there's a bunch of kid stuff in there, like trucks, like Power Wheels, and
Yep.
because my boys love watching that
If
stuff.
you have kids and you use YouTube at all for personal use and then also your kids' use, you're gonna have quite an interesting mixture. Mine looks almost identical, probably.
But yeah, my kids and I are all about some of those things because we're also watching like the outdoors and the content that we're watching as far as like Power Wheels or different things. There's this one channel on there. I'm totally side rabbit holing. There's a channel on there. It's got like a mom, and I swear she's purchased every Power Wheel ever created for their kid. He had like an outhouse and a septic pump truck Power Wheel. He
What?
had a combine. He had like Tonka trucks with like a backhoe. Then he had a skid loader. He had a big trailer for his skid loader pulled by his 3500 Dodge diesel heavy duty
Oh
Power
my
Wheel. Like
gosh.
I'm telling you, this is like the most gnarly channel I've ever seen, and I know they have to have. I haven't even looked, but they have to have so much viewership on there and gotten a ton of followers and likes, and now obviously they're making dollars off of it, which
Right.
is kind of where my brain went and on the initial like social media topics, YouTube
Mm-hmm.
topics, because I got to thinking like, wow, I'm like fed a lot of hunting content as well. And I eat that up and I look for the new content that comes out. Like I don't like necessarily watching the old ones or episodes I've already viewed. And I'm like, why do I watch these things? Well, one, I'm missing hunting when I'm not hunting and
Mm-hmm.
I'm not out in the field doing it. But also I'm looking for what people are doing and like tributaries or, uh irrigation ditches. I'm looking how are they setting up. I'm thinking about the access that I have. Where can I get access? What are the future hunts? Oh, I've never thought about that. I still have yet, except for maybe one time in my life, been field hunting, and I have a
Mm-hmm.
layout blind. I have shells for geese. I've got a lot of options to do that, and I prepared myself that way. But it hasn't come together yet. So in the context of clicks and followers and views, how has that changed? And this is the question. I'll just serve it up to start it off. Is YouTube like good for this hunting space and conservation? Is it good for education? Should it be used as a classroom? Is it pure entertainment? Like what is it for you, and why do you watch the stuff that's on there?
That's such a loaded question.
Well, this is all
Um,
an opinion piece. Like this episode is literally opinion driven.
yeah,
So you just take it where you want to go.
I feel like it can be very controversial depending on what angle you take this from. And the irony is not lost on me that we are a hunting podcast. We have hunting content. Well, not hunts yet. We have podcast content on YouTube. And our hope for this channel is that it grows. Yeah, so we hope we get more followers. We hope we get likes. We hope we get clicks. Like that part's not lost on me. So take everything I'm saying and put it through that scope. But
I think well, I'll let you I think organically though, right?
Yeah,
Because the
organically.
heartbeat behind like why we even start, like you talking to me about doing a podcast like this, is the same reason we've been experiencing a lot of people asking us, not even because we're experts, probably just from the fact that we're doing it,
Hmm.
about hunting, about putting meat in our freezer. Where did we start? Like, and
Yeah,
people are asking, how do I do that? Who have a very multitude of backgrounds. Some have exposure to hunting, some don't at all. Some have never touched a firearm. So that's
yeah,
where the heartbeat of this came from, was just like, can we talk and share what we talk about and what we learn and know with an audience that we can help grow this space of conservation and the things, the resources throughout our country that we value so much.
yeah. I mean, my our aim has never been for this to grow and to get rich off of this and to become huge influencers and all that kind of stuff. Our aim has always been to have these conversations that people are asking about, just like you said. Like a lot of people that talk to me about hunting and ask me questions about hunting, about how to get into it, they're coming to me because I'm like the one person they know that hunts.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be different all around the country. Um, and it's not like there aren't many hunters in Minnesota. There's a ton of hunters in Minnesota, but it just might be someone hasn't had any close connections with someone who hunts. And so I'm kind of the person they ask. And so after being asked so many times and getting these questions all the time, was like, let's talk about it. Let's put it out there. How many other people are out there that have no idea and they want to learn? And so that's what we're doing. But back to the original question, is YouTube, in a way, is YouTube ruining hunting? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? And I would say yes to all the
Ooh.
above. I would say
Oh,
yes.
you did say it's a good thing and a bad thing.
I would say it is a good thing.
You're a cop out.
No, but
You're
yeah, well,
you're taking the easy way out.
it's because this is not a black and white question. Not even close to a black and white question. This is a very gray. However, I think the reasons for it being good are black and white, and I think the reasons for it being bad are black and white, but you blend those two together and it kind of leaves you at a weird spot. So I'll make my case here. I think that YouTube is great for hunting in the fact that it brings a lot of exposure to it. And I think as long as the videos are done well and they're done from a conservation ethic mindset, that they are displaying hunting in the best way possible, not just the things that drive me a little bit crazy are the YouTube videos that are literally just 20 minutes of kill shots, and let's be honest, when we're watching YouTube videos about hunting,
I
we're
watch those, by
wanting,
the way.
and that's fine,
I
but
watch those to have a large database of visual shot placements for my
mhm,
own, like when I'm out in the field,
mhm.
essentially,
But here's where I'm going to play devil's advocate here with that. If you are a
which could be
non-hunter,
totally wrong.
if you are a non-hunter and you see something like that, or someone who's like, I'm not sure how I feel about hunting, and you see something like that, all a video like that seems to do is glorify killing, right? It's not showing anything that happened before that shot. It's not showing anything that happened after that shot. Now, again, I kill animals. I'm not going to run away from that fact. I kill animals and I enjoy doing it. However, there is so much more to hunting than just killing the animal. And I don't ever want anyone who's interested in hunting, or who, even if someone who's never going to hunt in their entire life, and we know people like that, someone who's never going to kill an animal their entire life intentionally. I don't want them to think that, oh, all hunters, they're just they have bloodlust, they just want to kill, they kill for the sake of killing. That's not my ethic. That's not my view on hunting. But videos like that, I can see would make it seem that way.
I would agree to that. For the person who does not live in the space of hunting,
Hmm.
all they see is animals being shot.
Yep.
Um, within the community, at least from when I was little, when I watched like real tree videos or hunts, and there's back to back 5 minute hunts, and they're pulling in these massive whitetails. I was always looking at like the trophy because those videos are made to be about the trophy hunts.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I Here's a question: when with YouTube and social media out there, has it cheapened? And what's maybe I'm trying to find the right word. Has it cheapened or familiarized the great outdoors in a way that has made it now so accessible so nothing is left almost unexplored because
Mm.
they're sharing like, and granted the wilderness is wilderness. It's big and you will never be able to explore all of it. It is just so massive, and you're probably never going to get to every spot that you see, let alone a handful of the spots that you see. Because one of the things I do like is people not sharing locations, but if you can zone in on like where they're at, where somebody's at.
Mm-hmm.
But it's almost demystified the mountains. It's demystified, regions of bluffs in Alaska. And is that a good thing? Is that like, because then technology comes into it, and now what is fair? Like, because you're getting into a space of marking areas, and while it's good to like herd all the hunters, right, from a like an onyx standpoint, like here's the zone, you can't cross this line, here's where your tag ends, here's where it begins. It helps organize the chaos because otherwise it's just pure chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Likely you could overhunt areas, you could wipe out entire populations by accident or intentionally. So there's something definitely to be said about the technology side to help with the massive amount of people that are into hunting. But from like a marketing standpoint and gear, what is that doing to hunting? Are we in the golden age, Peter, of like firearms, gear, trophies, um, application processes, or are we in the dark ages because we're so inundated? Where would you go with that? I'll stop talking here.
Again, a very loaded topic. Uh, wow. We
Thank you,
got some.
ChatGPT, for helping me organize all the things that come out of my head.
ChatGPT is a great thing for your head, Chris, because I.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
Yeah, some real heavy hitters right off the bat here. Um, I think that marketing, YouTube content has demystified wilderness areas in some way. Now, it takes someone to actually go to those places. And I feel that there is probably a large proportion of the people who are um, viewers and people that consume this content that will still never go to those places, a lot of those places, because either A, they're like, that looks miserable, I'm not doing that, or they want to experience something similar and they realize how much work and effort goes into it. And they're just like, no, it's not for me. I'll just, and we're kind of talking specifically about Western style hunts or even just some of these crazy,
Alaska, New
adventure
Zealand, all
style
that
hunts.
stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. They realize how much goes into it and they're like, yeah, I'll just stick to my tree stand. Thank you. Uh, you know, but in some ways, the marketing. I'm going to approach this from both sides. Okay, so from a marketing standpoint, dollars driven content, in a way, there is an argument to be made that this is a very positive thing in the fact that more dollars into the hunting industry means more dollars into conservation, more dollars into tags, applications, all that stuff that funds the conservation that essentially keeps this wildlife something accessible to us as the public. That's one side. That's one way you can look at it. The other side you can look at it is yes, it has demystified things. Even though access itself hasn't changed, a lot of these places feel more accessible than ever because all you need to do is subscribe to a mapping platform and maybe one of the application services like Go Hunt or Hunt and Fool, and you have all this information at your fingertips that just even 15 years ago no one could have even imagined. 15 years ago, people were still navigating these areas using paper maps that they had to get from the government, National Forest Service, Bureau of Land Management,
Sounds
all these
awesome.
things. You're navigating by a paper and a compass and all and
I mean,
landmarks and all these
think of
things.
how much technology has opened up, like BLM land, state land, from a hiking standpoint, just like
Mm-hmm.
boots on the ground. Before, people would not know where like lines are. Now you have GPS telling you
Right where you
literally
are.
where you are.
Yeah. So I would say that it is good that the public is able to access more of the land that belongs to them, right? I'm for that. But what does it mean for hunting and our hunting heritage? And what does it mean for the resource? Does this mean that we're becoming more successful on game? Does this mean that game populations are suffering? I would be interested to talk to a wildlife biologist in some of these areas and ask if they have seen a change in hunter success rates. And actually, these are probably numbers you could look up um, on most you know game or most websites for states for their wildlife management harvest statistics and all that kind of stuff, tag allocations, and comparing those two. I would be interested to see actually how much more efficient we have gotten at killing animals, finding and killing animals. I feel like I heard in a podcast that kind of breached this subject recently that you'd actually be surprised that our hunting success has not actually risen that much.
Well, you
Um,
also start to rely way too much
mhm.
on technology.
Yes.
There's definitely that pendulum.
Yeah, and I feel like that's something we can touch on a little later as we talk more about YouTube and hunting content and whether or not it's a good thing for hunting. Um, so I guess that's kind of my answer to the question. It's in some ways, yes, I think it's a great thing. In other ways, not so much. One other area I might kind of touch on is that, and we're even guilty of this. I feel like almost everyone is guilty of this, except for maybe the guys who still are totally cool hunting in their blue jeans and a plaid shirt with a with a heater in their mouth. But um, I feel like we have gotten so obsessed with gear that it has really taken away from the actual act of hunting. I feel like we've moved into a space where there are people, and we've tried to combat this in some of our podcast episodes, even though we have gear episodes, because I mean it is a part of hunting, but I feel there are people that think, oh, I can't go hunting, or I won't be successful if I don't have gear item A from brand A or whatever.
Oh yeah.
You know what I
That's
mean?
just good marketing though. I'd flip that on its head and be like, "Peter, they got they got those guys hook, line, and sinker." And
Right, totally, but it
to be
plays into the
fair, we've
space, you know?
ordered some of those items, I would say, from a practical standpoint.
Mhm.
And there are items we've ordered that have been absolute game changers.
Yes.
But there's also items like clothing. I've ordered a lot of gear from, you know, having different camo pattern setups to different. There's practicality behind it, beside from a layering standpoint, like how heavy the layering is, what does it do, does it breathe, does it wick. um, but there are items now that I ordered that were 150 bucks or whatever, and they sit because
Mhm.
I just don't put them to use.
Yep.
So
I
do
I've
you think
oh, yeah.
you can learn, do you think, like, how much learning happens on YouTube in your mind?
I think it depends on what content you're taking in. There are certain, I mean, there are going to be channels that are a lot better at the educational side of things, and then there's going to be channels or content creators that are more so like the hunting highlights side of things. You
Yeah.
know, um, I think
Does it
eh,
make learning more accessible?
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. I mean
Does it
the
create
num
overconfidence in like people?
definitely.
Does it feel like does it create the mirage of shortcuts? Like because hunting is a mentorship space. Like
Mhm.
you do like we don't I don't know if this is PC and I don't really care that much, but like you look at back in the early 1800s, 1700s, 1600s, you have the Native Americans who were here who would track animals,
Mhm.
and they'd be able to actually track the animal when they're hunting it. Right, they're looking for sign, getting to a spot, and they could like, at least from my knowledge and like what or my perception, I could be totally off, but from what I believe is true that I've been taught or learned over the years is like that's not a thing that happens at all now in our hunting culture, is it? Like, do you track animals or are you sitting and waiting? And now, because rifles are so good, you can stretch out 600 yards, it's no longer up close and personal, you know?
I think there's been a loss in skill. That skill set is called woodsmanship, and I would say that woodsmanship in general is severely lacking in today's hunting population. Um, and I'm not saying that I have good woodsmanship per se. I think the more time you spend in the field, naturally you acquire more of those skills. Um, but I would never ever claim that I could out hunt, you know, someone who has been hunting in that style for their whole life or whatever, like, because I grew up, or I mean I grew into my hunting career and my hunting trajectory never knowing or never not knowing the technology that we have. I've been hunting for just over a decade now.
I guess I'd equate it to like fishing, like your grandpa taking you out fishing and he'd like
Mhm.
show you how to tie the line and he'd,
Mhm.
you know, you pull up a certain type of fish and he's like, this is the type of fish it is. Oh, we got a nice one here. Or, you know, here's how you take the hook out. And those skills, that mentorship, there's probably a lot more people that just want to go fishing. They throw in whatever, rip a hook out of the fish's mouth. And maybe that's always been
Mhm.
happening. I'm not saying like it only happens now, but is
There's a
there,
big
do, do people believe that I don't know, can you learn to hunt in your living room? You know what I mean? Like YouTube is there and it can teach you all, quote
yeah.
unquote, teach you. I'm doing air quotes, but you're not
Mhm.
in the field. So you get out there and you have this like idea of how something is, and you might end up doing it wrong for 20
Mhm.
years because grandpa
Yeah.
or somebody didn't go, no, this is how you actually pitch the tent. This is how you stoke the stove. This is, you know, there are tangible skills. And I'm
Mhm.
not saying I had a whole lot of woodsmanship given to me like in my life. We're definitely learning on the go, but I was around like farm life and there's a lot of tangible skills for farming and, you know, being in the woods that I learned, in deer hunting. And,
Mhm.
you know, because my uncles were all torn from a culture and a time when everything was manual, everything was like you had to know these things, it was passed down, it
Right.
wasn't learning anywhere else.
There wasn't anything else doing the job for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um I'm going to liken this to a college education for a second, or like college coursework. I feel
Valuable
that
or invaluable? Not invaluable.
in a classroom setting, or we're going to say your living room in this situation because we're talking specifically about hunting content, YouTube, all that kind of stuff. I think you can learn a lot of theory.
Mm.
You can watch YouTube videos about how to hunt mule deer. You can watch YouTube videos where do mule deer live. You can watch tutorials on how to butcher a deer. You can watch all these videos and all these things telling you here's what deer do, here's why they do that, but there's no replacement for actually being in the field and tangibly experiencing those things. I can watch a YouTube video from the hunting public, and this is no shade thrown at hunting public. What they do, I think, is awesome because they actually do teach a lot of valuable skills that I think have made guys better hunters. I can watch a video on the hunting public and they can teach me the difference between a scrape and a rub, and they can teach me when I should be hunting a scrape or a rub, what time of year, why that deer is using that. But until I actually am in the woods and see a scrape or a rub for myself and see a deer come into one of those items, it's not going to click for me. You know what
Yeah,
I
and I
mean?
and I don't want to bash like the YouTube space,
No, not at all.
because there are I there are so many people out there who do not have access to a mentor in this space. So
Absolutely.
you have to start somewhere, and that's like the DIY, right? That's the learning a trade. That's jumping in and changing your spark plugs. Like, and I know that stuff is intimidating because it's intimidating for me. I had never changed spark plugs, and my dad's a car guy. It's hilarious. Uh, but I was like, man, I don't want to go spend $450, $500, $600, whatever it is at the dealership to have them swap out what, 6 or 8, I don't remember what it is, 8 spark plugs in my truck. And my brother-in-law was like, no, let's just go, we'll go pick them up and I'll show you how to do it. 90 some bucks. It took us 2-ish hours, like, because you kind of make sure you're doing it right and you're watching some videos right on YouTube.
Yep.
And now I've done it, and there's a comfortability that sets in where if I need to do it again, I'm not intimidated.
Mm-hmm.
And if I need to show somebody or check somebody's spark plugs in their car when it's on the side of the road, or
Yeah.
you've developed that space of comfortability, and that's the same thing with hunting. And a lot of guys that are out there, you have to start somewhere. So
Yeah.
no shade on that at all, but
Right.
overall, like culturally, we don't have a high number of mentors as it as there probably used to be.
Mm-hmm.
That trades and woodsmanship are passed down in, like, even the Boy Scouts. Like, I don't even know how many Boy Scouts there are anymore, but
Couldn't tell you.
it's probably not as, and I could be totally wrong, but it's probably not as big as it was.
Mm-hmm.
That's just perception. Like, nobody's like, let's go out to the woods. They want to play Fortnite every day they come home from school. I know there's a statistic that kids do not, excuse me, they do not go out and play with neighborhood kids as much anymore. Like, and it's a drastic fall off because the screen time has literally sucked their attention span and their time when they get home from school.
Mm-hmm.
It's wild.
Yeah. So I think it's more common now to almost look at these content creators' YouTube channels almost as digital mentors, which, again, you can learn really valuable information on YouTube by watching these hunts and everything. But you have to watch these videos through a filter. Because let's be honest, when I'm looking for a hunt to watch on YouTube, what am I going to gravitate towards? Am I going to gravitate towards a hunt by a channel that I recognize and it has at least 50,000 views? Or am I going to watch a hunt film made by some guy I don't recognize the channel name and it has 2,000 views? I'm probably going to gravitate more toward the video that has more views from someone I
Oh,
recognize.
interesting. I only gravitate towards new content.
Interesting. Okay. Well,
But if I get
new,
into the
but I mean,
content and it
there's a
sucks, I'm
difference.
out.
But there's a difference between new content and content that has traction. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
and
don't.
I'm just saying, like, if I get into something because of my background in film and like the passion I have for it,
Mhm.
I definitely know when something's higher quality, or if I don't need to sit there and listen to some guy give me a tutorial on, like, duck hunting.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm at YouTube for. That's like
But
not
we're
my,
also coming from the context of we know a lot about hunting, and so we're not seeking out that type of video. Whereas someone who isn't into hunting or is new to it,
yeah.
they might be looking for content that does dumb things down a little bit, you know? But again, you have to watch these videos through a filter and know that you are seeing, especially if we're talking about some of these Western backcountry hunts, you are seeing like 1%, if that,
No,
of that
less than
entire
that.
hunt.
Less than that.
Because you're watching, let's say it's a, just to be generous, let's say it's a 45-minute backcountry hunt video. Okay? 45 minutes. And let's say that that hunt was 7 or 8 days. You're watching 45 minutes of hundreds of hours, right? You are getting a tiny, tiny, tiny glimpse into that whole
You're
experience.
literally picking out the probably 100 best clips, right?
Yep. You're looking at the
Uh,
highlights and you are, I mean,
best
you're,
visuals,
mm-hmm,
most exciting moments, funniest moments, tragic moments,
mm-hmm. But
gear moments.
you're missing out on all the other things that didn't make the cut, whether those
Yeah.
things are mundane, which, you know, majority of them are, or things that were notable, but again, just didn't make the cut because they're trying to, they're shooting for a certain time. And so
How do you think? Oh, I'm sorry. Keep going.
I'm gonna say, and so like you can't watch these hunt films and be like, oh, that's what hunting out west is like. It's amazing. They're seeing animals constantly. They're having all these opportunities constantly. And the funny
That's a big perception or a learning
and the
curve.
funny thing is, even experienced hunters like us, when we've been out there and we've done those things, we fall for it because we'll go out on these hunts and feel discouraged when we only see 2 or 3 animals in a day because we're used to watching these videos where it seems like they're seeing animals constantly, and that's just
Yeah.
not reality. And so in that way, I think some of these YouTube videos can be really harmful. I don't necessarily blame the content creators because it's like you can't show all the mundane stuff. You have to show the parts
There
of
it
the
is,
hunt that
Peter.
made the hunt.
We have to
But
start a YouTube channel showing all the mundane of the hunting.
we'll just make like 7 hour long hunt films
The
and
opposite of the 45 minutes.
right. So it really is a catch 22 because it's not necessarily a realistic depiction of what hunting truly is, a lot of these videos, but how do you create content that is educational and entertaining without cutting out a lot of that stuff?
I mean, you
Because it
have
needs to be digestible. You know what I
so
mean?
from a story standpoint, conflict breeds uh viewership.
Mm-hmm.
Like even sitting around a campfire and someone telling a joke, there has to be a punchline. Telling a story, it's got to be like, oh my goodness, I cannot believe that happened. Like that seriously happened. You have to have conflict and tension within your stories. You have to, and it needs to have people's attention spans aren't forever.
Especially
So it,
now, they're getting shorter and shorter and shorter.
yeah, so you
You
have
know?
well, long form is actually taking root again because people are looking for like meaning. They're looking for value,
Yeah, and
and
I think we saw that in this last election for sure. They call it the podcast election.
hmm.
You
But
know,
you look at
like
even like movies, like um, I I can't stand a lot of movies today
mhm.
because I've watched a lot of old films where things aren't fast, things aren't flashy, cities aren't blowing up every movie. You know, it's not Armageddon every single film you watch. It's like, oh,
Right.
the city is being destroyed. We have to save it. Um, it's it's cheap. It's cardboardy. So like when you're watching these hunts and they're flashing the excitement stuff and the tension and like, oh, he missed the shot, or like, oh, this elk is walking in. Oh my goodness, I can't believe he's 7 yards. Those are the crazy, and those are literally the pinnacles of like awesome captured experiences, right? Because
Hmm.
then that leads me to my next question, because we've talked about filming some of our hunts, and I don't, the jury's still out. We might not. I don't know. Like, I don't know if I'm like, it comes down to my next question. Are people hunting for the fulfillment or for the likes? Are they looking for the
Hmm.
notoriety or the fame? Like, are they actually looking to teach, or are they looking to have their 4 seconds of fame? Because everybody's
Yeah.
trying to be something in the world. And I think that for me, I like people. I like the person. I'm very fascinated. I love when Joe Rogan, I can't remember who was on, but they were talking about why he does the Joe Rogan podcast. And he was like, I'm just fascinated by people and like what makes them tick. I'm fascinated by their backgrounds and how they got into what they do and how they become experts. And so for like the fame side of it, and then us filming, like I just don't. I enjoy being unplugged so
Yeah.
much, so much, and I enjoy the sound of the rippling water with the wind blowing by, and I enjoy being in the hunting stand and no one can find me, even though somebody could find me in a second.
Mhm.
And undisturbed nature all around where I get to like witness non-man-made things. And if I'm now bringing a camera into it, I'm like, I've lost my peace. Is that the same for you? And then on the flip side of that, are people hunting for fulfillment and peace, or are they doing it for likes and fame?
Yeah. I feel like you need to talk more in general on some of these subjects because I feel like I'm getting on my soapbox. I just get so fired up about these things. Um, and the funny thing is, I get fired up defending like both sides because
By the way,
because
when we actually talk without the mics in front of us about these things, we can sit around a fire for like 5 hours. It's a
Mhm.
car ride to Montana and it's like days in the field. Like, these are the philosophical spaces I really enjoy,
Yeah,
because it's meaning, value, who are we as humans, like soul level stuff, our families. So, like,
yeah.
yeah.
Sorry, you have to kind of reframe the question for me because I'm drawing
Yeah,
a
it
blank. It's
was,
been a
are
long day.
people hunting for fulfillment or
Oh,
likes?
right. Um, I've heard influencers talk about this subject from the standpoint of what do they enjoy more, the hunts that they're filming or the hunts that they're doing on their own time and not filming anything for their company or their sponsor or whoever it is. And I feel like it's a pretty clear majority of them say that they much more enjoy the hunts that they're not filming, um, because they're not having to think about, oh, we need to get a certain amount of shots, we need to get b-roll, like, oh, we need to get a image of you um, hiking this mountain, or we need to get an image of you walking up to your animal. And so that means that that cameraman has actually already been down to the animal after it's been shot and been waiting there to get the perfect shot of the hunter coming up on his kill. And to me, that cheapens it, like significantly cheapens the whole experience. Whether or not it's actually the hunter's first time coming up on his kill or not, you know, having been adjacent to filming some things and being adjacent to some music and radio type stuff, like a lot of those things happen in multiple takes. Like it very rarely happens perfect in a single take, and so it has to be redone multiple times. And maybe you have an excellent cameraman who just has an eye for things and is like, yep, if I sit here, I'm gonna get the perfect angle, the perfect shot. As the hunter's approaching the kill, it's gonna be blurry, but then it's gonna come into focus, and it's gonna have all these really appealing to the eye um, aspects. But
It's going to be cinematic.
yeah, they're looking for this cinematic experience for the person because they want you to feel like you're there, but they also want it to feel like a movie because they're telling a story. And just like Chris is saying, and Chris is really a great person to be talking about this whole topic because he did go to film school. He's made films. He lived in California. Like, he did all this stuff, so he understands entertainment and how to build and tell a story. And um but yeah, I guess we've talked about filming hunts. Even this fall, I was like, I'm gonna try and do a better job documenting our turkey hunt. Taking video and all this kind of stuff. And about not even half, maybe like 20 minutes into the turkey hunt, I'm like, this is a pain in the ass. Pardon my French. Like, I don't want to do this. I just want to hunt. I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to have to take a video every 5 minutes with an update or every couple minutes getting B-roll or whatever. I'm like, and then when a turkey does come, which one never did, but when a turkey does come, what am I going to do? Am I going to put more precedence on the hunt and having success and the opportunity, or am I going to be like, let me see if I can get my phone or my camera set up in just the perfect the perfect angle so I can catch myself getting shot? It's a pain. And so like in one vein, I hate it. like I don't want to hunt films, or I don't want to film hunts. But from the other side, thinking about viewers, like I do have a desire to create hunting content that is, for more or less of a better term, authentic to what you experience in the field. And I think that there are some channels that have done pretty well with that, capturing, trying to capture the essence of hunting and not just successes but failures as well. Um, but I don't know if I want to do it just because I enjoy hunting too much. Just like you said, I enjoy the unplugging. I enjoy the peace aspect of it. I enjoy spending time with my brothers and my friends and not being interrupted by having a camera in my face or being focused on getting the right shots rather than being focused on like the actual experience itself. Um, so while so the answer to your question is, I would say that the guys that do film their hunts, a lot of these guys are making a living, or at least some of a living doing this. So in some ways, I think they do kind of make some of them for likes, but they also hunt and do hunts not on camera as well. And so I think there's a mixture there, and I think almost any of them would tell you that they much prefer to hunt without a camera in their face. And I completely understand why. I don't know where that leaves us. I don't know if that even answers
Well, I mean,
anything.
like a lot of content, because there are influencers on. Well, that's where my question was going. A lot of people within the social media world have never mentored a single soul on this planet. They don't
Mm-hmm.
like. They couldn't. Mentorship is a big deal. It's a space that assists in be like a rite of passage of maturity, character, tangible skills. Uh, there's a unique relationship and a bond between the mentor and mentee, the apprentice, the master. So is the technology space, YouTube, social media, is it just creating a world of influencers that have no tangible interest in actually the well-being and like mentorship or development of this community, and they're just looking to make money? And that could be totally okay, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
because that's not what the space has to be used for. On the flip side, 100 years ago or way less, before, 20 some years ago, before social media was even a thing influencing the world or our culture, none of those questions existed, because all you
Right.
had was, your elder statesman showing you the ropes.
Yeah. And the only hunting content you had was DVDs and magazines or
Oh man, those were
VHS.
so good, by the way. Those were so good.
Yeah, but like that was a like the
I feel like
that
those were
genre was so different than it
Yeah,
is
and I
now.
feel like those guys were experts. Like they were the ones, like Real Tree team, like were sponsored and sent around to do this. And they got, and granted, they hunt a lot of game farms. Um, you didn't probably,
I think there's a lot of untold things behind some of those guys
yeah,
and high
but like
fence
Remy Warren, right?
situations.
Remy's an expert,
Hmm.
right? You'd agree.
I would agree. I don't think anyone would argue that.
And you get, and he's also an influencer, and his content is unique because it's very entertaining as well, and
Hmm.
you're watching a feat that this guy, he was solo hunting. I think was his first big,
Yeah.
what do they call it,
He self
a shtick.
he self filmed everything.
Yeah, so
I mean, and I have mad respect for that
He's a,
because that's
he's a
so hard.
pioneer. He's a pioneer in that space for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But now you literally everybody can have a GoPro, no issue. Got to stand, set it up, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. But the people that are going out with those GoPros now, my question is, are they mentors? Are
Mm-hmm.
they invested into? And I think generally, my opinion is no. They're not in it to mentor people. They're not in it to for the well-being of those that come after them. They're in it
Mm-hmm.
purely for entertainment, for clicks and money, and that's again, I'm not bashing that because that's what the space can be used for.
Mm-hmm.
It's just interesting when I'm coming from a background that's so heavily nostalgic, like growing up on the farm, like I've shared before, and my uncles who taught me the ropes and the hunting camps, and it being so formative to me as a person, and why this space is so intimate to me, and why I get along with someone like you so well because we share this appreciation for the hunt. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, we're almost through kind of all this, but with if anything has been lost with the YouTube space and social, is there anything to be reclaimed by it? Like that can aid this space again from something that may have been lost? That's my question.
I think this kind of goes back to my original answer with the fact that it depends on the content. And I think hunters have hunter content creators, I feel, have a responsibility in this day and age to be very cognizant of what their content is communicating. Going back to the extreme example of a video that's just 20 minutes of kill shots, right? I think that we live in a time where hunting is not widely accepted. We live in a time where there are not as many conservationists. There are a lot more environmentalists, people would call themselves. And so they would operate from a standpoint of we don't want to kill animals. Let's leave everything alone and let's let nature take its course the natural way. And I have a lot of issues with that stance. I'm not going to get super deep into it right now, but hunters do not make up a large proportion of the United States. As time goes on, and if the population of hunters truly does continue to shrink as it has, that's been the trend. You wouldn't guess it, and I think we've talked about this before. You wouldn't guess that there are less hunters now, and that hunter numbers continue to drop because it seems so much more visible than ever. There's more marketing, there's more content for it than ever. But per capita or as a percentage of the population, hunter numbers continue to go down. And that means that we are going to have less and less representation in this country as a demographic and as a group, which does not bode well for us in the future when it comes to legislation, rights for hunting, the ability to hunt, access to public lands, all these things. And so hunting has a little bit of a PR problem. And that's why I'm putting so much onus on these hunting content creators in creating the right content, telling the right story, glorifying hunting not from the aspect of killing, but glorifying hunting from the aspect of culture, camaraderie, conservation, and what it actually does for the resource and for people as a whole, rather than it's just a fun activity and we kill animals. I don't want it to be that. And so I think that social media and content on YouTube and whatnot can be a very powerful tool to redirect the narrative of what hunting truly is. because I have family members that still think I hunt just to kill animals, even though they know I eat a lot of wild game. I love cooking with it. I use a lot of the different parts of the animal. I eat organs now, something I never thought I would do. But it's because I don't want to cheapen hunting for what it truly is. And so, yes, any content creators out there that might be listening to this, understand that what you're creating, even though maybe it's intended for hunters and the hunting space, it is being seen by people not in the hunting space. And the story you tell can either create an ally, I hate using that word, but it can create someone who is sympathetic to hunting, or it can create someone who is completely opposed to hunting. And that's a responsibility if you are going to be a spokesperson for our community and for our culture. I don't know what you think about that, Chris. Maybe you think I'm making it seem like these people have all of this power, and that it's up to them to communicate the right message, and maybe you don't agree with that, but that's kind of the way I see it, because we have a podcast, we talk, we don't probably have a ton of listeners. I know we have listeners, but I'm not going to pretend we have millions of followers and millions of listeners like some of these content creators are. But like, I think about the things I say, because I know that there are people that listen to this that are either on the fence about hunting or they're wanting to try hunting, and I don't want to paint the wrong picture, you know?
Yeah, I mean, for being a leader, being a human, you should have thoughtful approaches to anything you do and the actions and the world around you. I believe we were created by God to be stewards of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Like God said
Likewise.
it God said it was good, and I give you dominion over everything, and therefore you are the general manager of what the lord or the farmer or the business owner, like you have been hired in. It's astonishing, really. Like it is every action, everything, like my sweatshirt, this hat. I was just It's funny, Heidi was just my wife was just talking. She just spoke uh on Sunday, and she started out with the GOAT debate, and it was Jordan, Kobe, LeBron. I think I started this podcast out saying something about that, but she was wearing a Kobe jersey, and I'm sitting there listening, and she actually was like, "Well, we're not actually going to talk about the GOAT basketball conversation. If you want to have that conversation, you go talk to my husband. He'll talk to you for hours about it, and I will. But we're going to talk about the GOATs of the Bible, and specifically this historical collection of stories, which is what the Bible is, and it's crazy because if you know anything about the Dead Sea Scrolls, or you look back in history and the validation of these, it's 66 books by 44 different authors that never met each other. It's like bonkers. Like, but I say that because she's wearing a Kobe jersey and she's talking about uh the goats of the Bible, these like heroes we have. And that's the same with the hunting space, but I'm getting further to the point of, like, she's wearing a Kobe jersey. That jersey meant nothing before this guy named Kobe Bean Bryant put that on as a 19-year-old, 18-year-old kid being drafted to the Los Angeles Lakers, going there in a trade, and his work ethic and doing something over and over again and winning championships and becoming something more than himself gave meaning. Like, his actions gave meaning to that jersey, to where now people wear that jersey. And then I looked at the guitar on stage, and somebody, that Fender guitar, and they like crafted it with elegance, and they like the intentionality behind how it was formed and why it's formed the way it was, and the strings and how tight they are. Like, it means something. Every single action, every single like filing and sanding and twisting of that string. And then I started looking around the room, and it's like people who have lost loved ones. They're with health problems. Like the storm came through and took out a bunch of trees at one guy's house, like literally all his trees, and relationships being lost, or like new jobs that are really joyful. Like there's all these things going on, and we're interacting with the world around us. And my point is that there is a place and perspective for the way you live your life where you become hypersensitive to that everything that you do has meaning and value, and it those moments mean something. um and that doesn't just apply to hunting. That is a universal value of how I approach the hunting and conservation space. So overall, I think when you're talking about these influencers or mentors in that digital space, or even those that don't get on that space, but yes, unequivocally, 100% yes. We are all called, I believe, to leave things better than we found them.
Mm-hmm.
That's people, that's workplace, that's the day that you've been given. You wake up and breathe. Like you can make your house a mess, or you can go trim the hedges and it's going to look really nice. Like those things mean something and they represent something, and eventually that the things that those things represent and the meaning behind it communicates. And that's what you're saying to the greater world around you. And that's how culture is formed. That's how values are formed. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
I love this space because it's so formative to like existing, and something that we don't talk about like ever. We're talking about so many symptoms to problems, and we're trying to diagnose things, and we're popping pills to like medicate, and we're like trying to like work out to be stronger, and but we miss the soul level stuff. And that's why it's so spiritual. This space of conservation is because I think it's formative all the way from the creation of the earth, which is
Mm-hmm.
what I truly believe. This is what I was made to do. I was made
Mm-hmm.
to use the land and be one with the land and provide for my family. And maybe we will film a duck hunt. I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't know if we're going to sit there and be like approaching it from a mentorship standpoint or just a filming for entertainment standpoint. I don't know if I have an opinion on that, but I think those values do come through in any content. Like you can pretty much discern pretty quickly where somebody is going with why they're doing what they're doing. So I will simply say I'll end, and I can throw it back to you for your thought on this too, and we can end kind of here. I value the things that resonate um, when I see good ethics happening, when I see like pure joy, when they got their kid in the field and they're showing him something new. The awe and wonder, like the world's so heavy, life is so heavy, like we have to provide as men.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's a wonderful privilege. It's a heavy load, but we have families, um, get your house in order. And we do some of those things better than other things. But I don't know. Does that all, like I said, there's a lot in my head, and that was a long winded way to get here. But do you resonate with that? Is that summed up pretty well for you in the same way, or how would it be different for you?
No, I feel you explain that pretty well. And the thing is, with these types of conversations, it's not always necessarily possible to dumb it down and simplify it. Though it's not as effective as kind of exploring it at a deeper level, long-winded. Some people would call it long-winded. I would just call it thorough.
Mm.
Way of
Thank you.
explaining your thoughts and the way that in the way that this space resonates. So yeah, I would agree with you because you and I share you know a lot of the same beliefs, and so I do agree with you from a spiritual aspect. I do feel that we are called, if you're a follower of Christ, I feel we are called to steward all of this that we're given, and I think where you can get deeper into the weeds is people are going to argue, okay, what's the best way to do that?
Mhm.
You know, um, is YouTube content, is this a good way to steward what we have by bringing more attention to it? And in the current system that we have, it very well might be a good way to steward it because that means more dollars, more gear purchases. And we've talked about the different avenues of how conservation is funded through things like Pittman Robertson and tag sales and all that kind of stuff. Um, or on the flip side, and I feel like I'm kind of summarizing this conversation we've had, or on the flip side is all this attention that we're paying to these public places and to our resources that we have access to, and these different hunts and all this kind of stuff. Is it simply monetizing this resource? Is it simply monetizing this gift that we've been given by our creators at cheapening it? And so for you as a listener, as a new hunter or an experienced hunter or a non-hunter, where do you fit within this whole space? Where do you fit within this dynamic? What do you believe is your calling as a steward of what we've been given, the gift that we have? Whether you believe in a higher power or not, we all have access to this resource of wildlife, wild places, natural resources, all these things. We all have access to this as American citizens.
Yeah, I mean, we won the jackpot being born where we are
Yes.
in the time we are with the resources that we have, the affluence that we have. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it is astonishing if you have any sort of background context, like historical context for what we are provided today in
Mm-hmm.
life, like running water, toilet, get a burger down the street. It's wild
Mm-hmm.
the level of affluence that we live, and the byproduct of that is we have amenities and resources and gear up the wazoo to make hunting like so accessible. Um, but I guess we're just talking about the whole topic of it is has it been has elements of it been lost from a monetization space, influencer space, fame space. So
Yeah. So to answer the whole thing, Chris, with a concrete answer, it depends. Oh
yeah.
man, I don't feel like there's any other better way to end it than that. Just it depends. Um, you kind of have to arrive at your own
Ooh,
thoughts there,
here's a
opinion
good
there.
one. Hey, this is courtesy of ChatGPT. I did not come up with this, nor will I take
Okay.
credit for it, but this is
Okay.
awesome.
See what the robots have to say.
It said, closing 2 to 3 minutes with this. The takeaway is use online tools. Don't become one.
Oh,
How good is that?
that's so good and so bad at the same time.
So good.
Yes, use
Your hunt.
online tools with through a filter, understanding that you can learn about things and you can learn how to do them, but you can't learn how to do them. If you know what I mean. Like
Don't
if you
become a tool. Don't be one of those guys that. Uh, there's some good comedic
oh,
hunting content that you've showed me over the years. You also don't need an audience. Like, this hunting
mm-hmm.
space doesn't need to be broadcast. Like,
No.
you can go have, like, why don't you try, if you are Instagramming, in the stand all the time, or if you're shooting pictures, why don't you go out and just try for experience sake, like yourself, leaving the phone off, just going out and not being on it. I
Mm-hmm.
guarantee you'll have a completely different perspective when you come in.
Yep.
And then the challenge is success and failure can be as equally as cinematic.
Yeah.
Like,
I
we've failed and then been like, all right, let's go get some pancakes. And I enjoy sitting there eating pancakes and drinking coffee. Like, is there anything better? I don't know.
oh, it's funny. I will say, love them or hate them. I feel like Meat Eater has done a really good job with this in a lot of their hunt films because they've done plenty of hunts where they have not been successful. Um, and I'm not to say that they're the first ones that ever did that, but like the I would say that older hunt films there was almost always success. Meat
Mm.
Eater started releasing content where they weren't successful, and then you saw more and more content coming out where people weren't successful. And I think that is actually a very healthy thing because I think it does set a realistic, well, a semi-realistic expectation. At least from the standpoint of even though these guys are influencers, content creators, they most people would consider them professionals, they still have failures too. And I think it causes people to really have to look at themselves in the mirror and redefine for themselves what is success. I think that's an important thing to take away from that. And that could be a topic for a different time. We could dive even deeper into that. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Kudos to Meat Eater for that. I know some people don't like them for other various reasons. They've gotten very big and corporate seeming, but I have thought for a long time that Meat Eater has done that very well. And they have done some things like a lot of their content is educational in nature, which I also really like.
Yeah,
Um,
I would agree to that. And then also, people say like to each their own, right?
mhm,
A lot of times we have very hard opinions and stances on things that maybe don't need our time. Like
mhm.
they're not philosophically, theologically, sociologically relevant. It's like, oh, I don't like that they have a big company now. And on the flip side, they're employing a bunch of people. It's part of business.
There's two sides to every coin, people.
Yeah, like
you
it's
know.
can I truly carry a hard opinion of, I'll even say this, on gear, right? Because I'm
Hmm.
pretty there's gear that I like and don't like from a brand standpoint, but that doesn't mean that everything that another brand that I don't prefer doesn't produce good quality stuff, or
Right. Yeah.
some items that may be superior to the items that I roll with.
Hmm.
Um, so it's
It's
I,
funny. We get stuck in these little camps that really mean nothing.
yes,
you know, we get very tribal in that
and
way.
I'm not preaching like universalism, like this is a stance to take on everything, right? There's hills to
Hmm.
die on. There are battles to fight, and then there are things that are like you should just probably shrug your shoulders about. Like if you know what I mean?
Yep. Yep. We take everything way too seriously. I would say.
Yeah,
I shouldn't say everything. I would say we take most things far
that
too
is one
seriously.
thing about social media. It has in the most terrible way made everyone believe that they have substantial, while we're sitting here talking about, we have a podcast and we're talking about hunting. Granted, we do what we are speaking about and we try to stay in that vein, and it's a little bit more, it's about the character space. And I recently finished my master's in leadership, and that's about helping people achieve things like
Hmm.
systems and all that. But social media has given every single person, especially from some of the stuff I've heard, and I'm not an expert on this, but everyone believes himself to be an expert. Everyone now believes, I think the kids, when they write down what do you want to be when they grow up, it's over like 50% want to be an influencer.
Hmm.
When we used to be like, we want to be a professional baseball player or a
A
business owner.
firefighter or
Like
a
these
police officer. Yeah.
those are like couldn't be further away now,
Hmm.
and everyone has a phone in their hands and their Instagram account.
Hmm.
And if you could just make funny reels, you have followers, and then your existence gets caught up in making these like funny reels for the next 10 years of your life. And you're on social media, what, 8 hours a day or something
Yeah.
absurd?
Yeah. And it's really easy to get caught up in that, like to feel that pressure to like produce and It's it's gross. It's a gross space. I don't like it. We have a TikTok and I do post on it and I do try and post funny reels. And I'll be honest, like I feel that almost that tension to create. It's like because if I'm not creating, then we're not it's not visual, and then we're going to lose followers, and we're trying to get our message out to more people. It's the
Dude, I
whole
love
thing
you so
is
much because
uh,
the extent of my exposure to our TikTok is you sending me once in a while one of the funny ones that you find comical to me, and I enjoy them only for that. Like I don't even go on our TikTok, but
yeah,
I'm
it's
like,
all
"Oh,
me, people.
that's really funny. Thanks for sending me that." That's how I feel about it.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's just hard because in this day and age, like this is all behind the scenes right now, people. This is off the cuff. In this day and age, it's like you cannot grow a podcast or anything like that without social media because that is where eyes are.
And our
And
intention,
so,
by the way, everyone, is to grow. We want to reach an audience that is searching for just honest content about the hunting space, right?
mhm.
We're
And
not
we're
we're
not
not
trying
trying
to
to
get
be
rich.
Vortex. We're not trying to
Right.
be Stone Glacier or any of these. We're not speaking about products in a way like
Mhm.
we're the expert manufacturers, or I'm not Remy Warren. I would love to hang out with the Stone Glacier or Vortex guys. I would love to go on a hunt with Remy Warren,
Mhm.
which I think a ton of people would. But what we came to this space and what we feel like we wanted to contribute is an honest conversation about where do you start? Like, what is our
Mhm.
experience? Because there's so many people, again, that we just feel like are around us and we're
Yeah.
seeking out some wisdom. Why
And
not just long form it and share the actual conversations we have when we're not podcasting?
well, right. And the other thing is like how many people, especially new hunters, are having these tough conversations on the front end. Like I feel like you arrive at these conversations eventually the longer you've been into hunting, but like these are important conversations to have right off the bat because they're important.
Mm-hmm.
They're very central to who we are and what we do. Um but anyway, as I was saying, if I had my choice, we would not be on social media. I do not enjoy it. I think social media can be a great tool. I think there's great things about it, but also I think it comes at great cost on a personal individual level. Like those are my personal beliefs. I think we are heavily reliant and addicted to it, and I don't like that about it. But I also know that it is a tool to reach more people and to, put these conversations out into spaces where more people can interact with them. And so I'm doing it for you guys because I'm not doing it for me. I'm doing it for you.
This just crossed my mind, and this is just a full curtain pulled back conversation because that's what this is. Are we having a certain amount of episodes for season 1 of Ready Set Hunt?
I mean, you can approach it from seasons or you can just keep it rolling. I haven't really thought of this show as necessarily seasons or not. I mean,
Because I mean, you and I have discussed at length. We've done quite a few now. What, this is episode 22
this is episode 22.
of
Yeah.
us talking, and we've started to line up and make some outreaches to different industry experts or areas of conservation that we don't normally talk about. For example, fly fishing.
Hmm.
Um, I was thinking that season 2 is going to be all that. Like
All guests and
that's what
whatnot.
I would like to really see from this, because I want to inquire more of that space from experts, game wardens, or business owners, or
People who
any.
are like truly experts in their field or even
Yeah,
other hosts of podcasts and hunting podcasts and stuff
yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Um,
Those are some things that we're currently lining up just like
yeah.
as
So
a
I'm
little
just
teaser
asking
for
you right
people.
now because like that's what
Yeah.
this is. But I think that's where I'd like to go with it.
Mhm.
I don't want to listen to my own voice, even though I don't even listen to our own podcast. Uh, I don't like being in front of the camera. I like the director's seat. I like producing.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm just. randomly thinking out loud now.
Yeah.
Anyways,
These are all conversations Chris and I can have more behind the scenes rather than live on the air with you guys. But if you have thoughts on that, we'd love to hear them. I know we do this at the end of every episode, but seriously, guys, like we do it because it's important. We want to hear from you. We want feedback from you. We want to know what you want to hear. What questions do you have as a new hunter or someone wanting to get into hunting? Because I mean, if you want, we can just keep on coming up with topics every week and talking about what we think you guys want to hear, but tell us what you actually want to hear and we will literally mold our subjects and our
we'll
topics
have
and our
conversations
content
around those. Yeah.
to those things.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, this is your opportunity. Again, we're not experts, but we do have a lot of experience and we know a lot of people that are experts. And so, if you want us to bring people in to answer the questions you're having, you gotta let us know. So you can
Dude,
email us.
we should do a world class waterfowl call with I think you know who I'm talking about
Yeah,
from out
yeah,
west.
we could get them in.
It'd be super fun.
Yeah. So yeah, email us, readysethuntpod@gmail.com. Reach out to us on social media. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. We have a Facebook. I believe we have a Facebook group we haven't really done anything with. That's on me because again, I don't really like social media, but I do it. I do it for you
Hey,
guys.
I've
Um,
posted some blogs, but I've been lacking.
yeah.
I
And
need
we
to
do have
write some more.
our website readysетhunt.org. You can learn a little more about us. You can see some pictures from our hunts and from our
One thing that
experiences.
is exciting to add pretty soon across all our socials and our website is the 2025 hunting season photo album, because we're going to start to have all these pictures from this season, which is
Yep.
some of the most fun things to share,
Mm-hmm.
especially with we have usually a group chat or something with the guys that go out and
Yeah.
family and stuff
Yeah,
like that. So
we'll have content to share. We probably won't have hunt films, but we'll have clips and stuff, and
I
we'll
can
try and
definitely
show the
blog about each of the hunts and different things. That
yeah.
I look forward to that.
Yeah, and we'll do recap episodes and stuff like that too, just so you can kind of follow along with us on our season. And we'd love to hear about your season as well and how things are going. But anyway, Chris, this one's getting a little long-winded. It's been a really fun episode.
Peace out.
I really like the format of us coming up with options for an episode and just kind of springing it. I feel like it almost makes it more authentic and a little more off the cuff. It's kind of fun. So maybe we'll do this again. I enjoyed it.
Catch you later.
Yeah, thanks, guys.